Meghan played the psychology game very well, but through her words, body language, and subtle cues, she revealed how she was controlling not just Harry, but also the entire narrative. We are going to break down those psychological tricks in this video. Let's start with the posture. This single frame from Meghan and Harry's engagement interview speaks louder than any words. Harry's shoulders are slumped, head tilted to the side. His eyes look tired, almost weak, like someone who's second-guessing himself. That tilt is a classic sign of submission, giving away authority instead of projecting confidence. He doesn't look like a prince about to start a new life. He looks like a man already bending. Now, contrast that with Meghan. Her head is held perfectly straight, her eyes sharp, focused, and, as many noted, devious. That tight smile doesn't radiate warmth, it radiates calculation. It's the kind of expression where the mouth plays along, but the eyes give away the real thoughts. And then there's the claw, the hand placement. Meghan's hand is firmly on top, fingers locked in dominance. It's subtle, but in psychology, this signals control. The person whose hand rests above is the one asserting authority. Here, Meghan isn't the supportive fiancé, she's the one steering the narrative. Put together, the picture is crystal clear. Harry shows submission and weariness, while Meghan displays control and quiet dominance. Now, let's move on to the interview. You will be shocked to see the hidden psychological tricks Meghan used. She took control right away by telling a playful domestic story about roasting chicken.
Good night
It's
for
a
us.
cozy night. What were we doing? Just roasting chicken and
Roasting
having
a chicken, trying to roast a chicken.
trying to roast a chicken, and it was just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic.
At first, one might think that it is cute, but psychologically, this was not just casual small talk. That story framed the relationship as ordinary, authentic, and private, rather than calculated. She wanted the world to see her as someone who was not opportunistic, but simply a normal woman who just happened to fall in love with a prince. This tactic is called narrative framing. By humanizing herself from the very first second, she disarmed the audience and made herself appear relatable, which is a powerful psychological strategy when entering a rigid institution like the royal family. Privacy also played a big role in her performance. When asked about the mystery friend who introduced them, Meghan immediately stepped in to protect that person's identity.
Yes, we first met, we were introduced actually by a mutual friend who
We should protect her privacy
Protect
and
her
not
privacy,
reveal
yeah.
too much of that.
and but it was literally, it was through her.
At first glance, it looked noble, but it was much more than that. Psychologically, this was boundary-setting behavior. She was signaling very early on that she and Harry would be the ones controlling what the public gets to know about them. It was the start of a pattern, controlling the narrative before anyone else could. This also highlights her controlling behavior over Harry. If you compare it with the engagement interview of Prince William and Princess Catherine, you will notice that they never interrupt each other and they wait for others to finish. But Meghan always interrupts to assert her dominance. And then she slipped in the claim that she was naive and knew nothing about the royal family.
Because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family, and so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice?
We know that isn't true, but psychologically, there are two reasons why Meghan chose to lie about it. The first reason is about image management. By presenting herself as naive, she positioned herself as innocent and even vulnerable. This makes criticism harder to throw at her because the public begins to see her as someone who simply walked into the royal world with wide-eyed innocence. Later, when accusations of racism were raised, she leaned on that same image of innocence to gain sympathy. In her mind, people were supposed to side with her without hesitation. But instead, it backfired and created division. The second reason why she chose to lie about not knowing much about the royal family has everything to do with timing and ego.
So how much did you, Prince Harry, know about Meghan? Had you seen her on TV?
No, I'd never even heard about her until this friend said Meghan Markle. I was like, right, okay, give me give me a bit of background, what's going on here. So no, I'd never watched Suits. I'd never heard of Meghan before, and
As soon as Harry said that he didn't know who Meghan was, you can see her smile drop and her jaw clench, which shows her attempt to control her true emotions. And then she retaliates by saying that she did not know Harry either.
I think for both of us, though, it was really refreshing because given that I didn't know a lot about him, everything that I've learned about him, I learned through him, as opposed to having grown up around different news stories or tabloids or whatever else. Anything I learned about him and his family was what he would share with me, and vice versa. So for both of us, it was just a really authentic and organic way to get to know.
Another fascinating tactic came when she was asked about her career. Meghan did not admit that she gave it up for marriage. Instead, she reframed it as a new chapter.
Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up. I just see it as a change.
It's a new challenge. It's
a new chapter, right?
This is what psychologists call cognitive reframing. By reshaping the situation, she avoided looking like someone who sacrificed her independence for royalty. Instead, she presented it as an empowered choice, which allowed her to keep her self-esteem intact and protect her public image. Had she admitted to abandoning her career, the narrative could have shifted to portray her as someone opportunistic, leaving everything behind for status. She carefully tried to avoid that trap. Now let's move to one of the most telling parts of the interview, when Harry said, "And I hope she loves me." At that moment, Meghan's reaction was striking.
You know, I know that I'm in love with this girl, and I hope that she's in love with me.
Instead of immediately reassuring him with enthusiasm, she went silent, keeping a plain face for several seconds. Think about it. If a man you love deeply says he hopes you love him, the natural reaction would be to quickly smile, laugh, or reassure him with warmth. Meghan didn't do any of that. That silence was a psychological cue. It suggested that love wasn't her primary motivation at that point. It pointed towards something deeper: status, image, and the benefits of being tied to royalty. Nonverbal cues added another layer to the psychological game. Meghan's constant laughing and smiling reinforced the story she wanted to tell. Smiling makes people feel at ease, it validates what is being said, and it lowers suspicion. If she had kept a straight face, people might have started doubting her sincerity. Long, direct eye contact with the interviewer further projected confidence and composure.
It was centered around your ethnicity, Meghan. When you realized that, what did you think?
She wanted the audience to see a woman who was not intimidated, who was calm and self-assured in the spotlight. It was all part of shaping public perception. Her speech and language patterns revealed even more control. Meghan's words were wrapped in softness, but the structure was commanding. She used phrases like, "You have to understand," and "keep in mind."
Right? And also keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years.
Those are subtle controlling tools. They guide the listener's thoughts while sounding polite. This is covert dominance appearing gentle while steering the entire conversation. Even Harry was influenced by it. Before speaking, he often paused, almost as if checking with her first. At times, she even cued him, signaling when it was safe for him to respond. That hesitation showed where the power truly was.
As you said, work as a team with you.
Her storytelling gave the impression that she was simply recalling personal moments, even when those stories could not be verified. This tactic made it harder for the audience to challenge her narrative because it sounded personal and grounded.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm really just proud of who I am and where I come from, and we have never put any focus on that. We've just focused on who we are as a couple. And
one of the most telling moments in the engagement interview came when Harry proudly mentioned the ring. He explained how he'd helped design it himself, even including diamonds from Diana's collection so that she could come along for the ride. Instead of warmth, Meghan's reaction almost bordered on a sneer. Her expression flickered with something far from gratitude.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about your ring.
The ring is obviously yellow gold because that's her favourite, and the main stone itself, a source from Botswana, And the little diamonds either side are from my mother's jewelry collection to make sure that she's with us on this crazy journey together.
But the real giveaway was something else. When Harry said she'd be a great addition to the team, Meghan's face tightened instantly. From the side angle, you can see her jaw muscle clench sharply, like she was physically rejecting the word team. It wasn't subtle. It was the kind of micro-expression psychologists point to as suppressed irritation. To Meghan, being part of a team wasn't the dream. It was an insult. That one slip in body language revealed volumes about how she saw herself and her role moving forward.
For me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work.
And then there's the infamous double claw. Meghan kept Harry's hands trapped in her lap the entire time, fingers locked in that dominating grip. Observers later pointed out that when Harry tried to shift in his chair, she didn't loosen her hold for even a second. That isn't affectionate, that's controlling. It's a subtle but powerful signal. She was making it very clear, right from the engagement interview, that she had the upper hand, quite literally. So there you have it, the deep psychology of control that Meghan pulled off during their engagement interview. Every smile, every story, every silence had a purpose. Which of these psychological tactics stood out to you the most? Did you notice any other subtle cues that we missed? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's decode this together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.